Hi guys, welcome to Court of the Dead Live. I am filling in for Anna, and this is Tom. Hi Tom.
How you doing?
We're back, and we're talking more Court of the Dead Mourner's Call, and I think today's theme is Etherea. What is Etherea, and how does one acquire it? If it's something you can acquire.
At the bank. No. The Etherea, as it's represented in Mourner's Call, is in your hand. You hold it now, the precious spark of all creation.
Etherea. It's the spark of all creation?
Yes.
So that's not intense at all.
Yeah, I mean, just a modest little currency, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh no.
So in a little lore sidebar here. So Etherea originally was the element that started and helped, ignite and create the celestial realm, which is where this little pocket universe began.
That's amazing.
But as the two sides within the celestial realm vectored towards law and chaos and became heaven and hell, they did nothing but squabble and ultimately go to open warfare, essentially over that resource. As they both tried to project their own identities through their law and chaos kind of points of view. That instantly went into conflict and ultimately led to the war that has been burning now for eons.
Right.
So in order to try and remedy this situation, the original sort of creators of Heaven and Hell, Priam and Abraxel of Hell, recognized their mistake in leaving this as an open resource for these two parties. So they created a hole in the rift or the veils in their universe and projected all of their ethereal power or whatnot, which they were sort of the genesis for.
Wow.
And they shot it into this construction of the mortal realm that they created as a place to put this and pocket it away from the celestials. But in the middle choke point is where the underworld sits.
Okay.
And so they designed it to serve as that the aspect of sort of filtering it and keeping it from flooding into the celestial realm where they could maybe be sort of starved out or contained.
Right.
But the Celestials, not standing for that in the absence of their leaders, said, no, we still want the juice. So they took and put the Alltaker, or Death, the master of the underworld at that point, to task to collect this from the mortal realm. And so how Etherea sort of presents itself in the mortal realm is that it is essentially that spark that connects with the soul or the spirit energy in the mortal realm to create a soul.
Oh, wow.
That then goes and, takes its place within a mortal body. And that then, as you live your life in the aspects of law and chaos, and you build up a sort of polarization for which end of the celestial spectrum you're supposed to go to. Because good and evil in this realm is not no one has a monopoly on.
Right.
It's something, goodness is something you work to obtain. Evil is obviously something you pursue for your own dastardly
I always
purposes.
liked that element of the court, is that you kind of always start on the neutral ground and you have to work towards good or work towards evil. Like there's no...
I love that in storytelling.
Yeah.
Because I think the fact that, some things are just by default, it's
Yeah.
like, well, then I think that kind of takes the specialness of
Right.
having achieved that, right?
Oh, right.
So,
I completely agree.
So Etherea rides your soul, and as you live, it builds up its concentration, your memories, all your experiences add up into the potency of it, and then as it's brought through and unfortunately ultimately harvested towards the celestial realm, aspects of it cascade off and whatnot, and that's what the Alltaker is sort of siphoning and giving sanctuary in the underworld to, is the memories and all the other aspects of what the mortal condition is that the Celestials essentially have no use for.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
the nice, or
No,
go ahead.
No,
what were you gonna say?
you.
It's your
you.
show.
Oh, I was gonna just bring it to the game, but you have more lore to tell us. It seems. So.
Well, so in aspects of the game, it then is the most precious of all currencies. It's one that you
Yes.
actually have to literally pay the tithe to the Celestials, but also keep some back so that you can use that in the more, the more creative aspects that it's put to use in the underworld. Where in the underworld, it sort of fosters and it dwells here in kind of peace. So it's not put to the discord that it is in the celestial realm. So one of the things about Etherea too was its choice of color, and that's something that's kind of you can also see echoed throughout the game board.
Yeah,
is this really lush aqua blue? So in this property that does have quite a few shades of darkness, the aspect was to try and show that Etherea and the underworld as its kind of custodian held the most beatific color in the color spectrum of the story, the game, and all the artwork that we do. And you can see these colors kind of echo throughout the game. So you can see the spirit faction.
Yeah, I was gonna say spirit
On my
faction
shirt
even has
is
the little blue.
is rife with that aqua blue, sort of
Yeah.
celebrating the sort of ethereal importance
And
of
that
things.
also makes sense because you're just saying that
Right.
it's kind of what, like your soul is sparked from the Etherea, so it makes sense there's a spirit
Exactly.
faction.
We do have a lore question.
Yeah, go for it.
So how are the quotes of Etherea decided for the Celestials? Do heaven and hell demand the All-Taker harvest more and more?
The Celestials, story context-wise, have definitely pushed and ever pushed the gas on the All-Taker to consistently up the ante. So
Wow.
if you've ever had bill collectors call you all the time, it's not unlike that. So, as their thirst to kind of push their war to ever staggering heights increases, the lifespan and the duration of things in the mortal realm get tighter and whatnot. So, and there's an aspect too when you look at the board that has kind of been brought up. That's a little bit of a myth play, but if we look in the place where the Etherea is stored,
Oh wow! Oh
you
wow!
can kind of see a little bit of a glimpse into the mortal realm,
get
which
my
is
head
sort
out
of
of
for game theme's sake and for the property is we see the discord of the mortal realm, and the point being there that the underworld and the mortal realm are certainly connected in a lot of ways, but one really significant one is that the reaping is done by both sides. So mankind certainly does its share in feeding this mechanism, and this is a part of the picture that the All-Taker sees and has grown to despise and is looking for a more noble way to have a relationship with the mortal realm. So,
Wow. We have another question.
On another Etherea-related sort of question.
all right.
It's very beautiful. Are we going to get jewelry?
Etherea jewelry. Well, we currently are working with Honcholo and Badali, both jewelry makers that have slowly but surely been working through different aspects of the iconography of the property. There's a lot of focus on faction jewelry. I think as we've gone through this gaming opportunity and looking at other ways for people to react to the property, that's a place that I'd love to go. I think that being able to put a little sliver of I guess it's a sapphire-esque
It would be
color.
like a
Would that be about
sapphire,
right? Yeah.
or like
into the piece, I think gives it that extra sort of touch of the beatific, which is again hiding within the darker grays and blacks of the property's overall themes.
That'll be really awesome. I just want because Honcholo makes that amazing agleveil with the eyes and everything.
Yep,
Just
yep.
think of that
I've got
in
that one.
so many different ways.
There's still a coupon for Honcholo right now.
Ooh, there's a
If you
coupon.
go to Honcholo and use Sideshow as a coupon,
Ah.
you get a percentage off until April 28th, I believe.
Oh, that's terrific.
Wow.
Look into that.
Yeah,
The
Honcholo-
expressions from both companies are, wow,
Yeah.
they really capture the art and illustrations of a lot of what you see on the premium format statues, all that really kind of gritty
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
detail.
And even the premium format statues have this ethereal blue on
Yep,
a lot of
we
them.
try and work that into everything as that sort of fingerprint of
Yeah.
that's their sort of nobility. And while we're talking about the Kickstarter, one of the new stretch goals that was revealed today, I believe it's at what is the tier?
For the board,
Uh-huh.
140K.
All right, so at 140K, which I think we're hovering just off the 130, so we're just about to make the Demethyl stretch goal. But all of the ethereal elements on the board, the water kind of veining that kind of connects and flows through the city and whatnot in a sort of almost Venetian kind of construct. This will all get a spot glass. So when you're playing the game, the luster of that aqua blue will just gleam in whatever lighting you're using, whether it's the kitchen or your really well manicured gaming room that has awesome lighting like the studio.
like this. We have
Or like
ethereal blue.
my house.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know. I love to game. I love to game with soundtracks on, the lighting. I mean,
Oh yeah,
the
you have
ambiance
to
is
put
everything,
you have to
right?
put the atmosphere of the game. Like you have to have a playlist that goes with the game. And yeah, no, I completely
Agreed,
agree.
right?
Yeah, completely agree.
So
We have another lore question
Yeah.
about how does the reaping work? Does death decide when mortals die, or does he just collect when mortals inevitably die, or is it a little bit of both?
it is mostly the latter. So the mortal realm and whatnot is a pretty efficient engine at keeping things moving along, whether it's aging or by virtue of mankind's choices. But there are some that the All-Taker can perceive as being more beneficial to the ongoing enterprise of the underworld. So he'll frequently look to find those souls and sort of I guess sort of custodian them, not necessarily forcing them to their end, but watch for it and sort of try and step in and secrete them back to the underworld before they get caught up into the general mill moving upstream to the Celestials.
I like that imagery. I just kind of got lost in like
of cherry picking what's up and whatnot. Well, think of it as like the tide. You can no more control the tide as it comes in, but if there's a bottle floating in it, you can grab that up and rescue that portion.
I totally get that.
And I think that's the point where he's stuck.
Another question.
Yeah.
What do you find the most fun aspect of the game? Either strategy and messing with other people, or just enjoying the artwork?
Well, the artwork is certainly an enjoyable factor, but I get to soak that up almost daily. So for me, as it relates to the game, that's a huge bonus, and I love that that's there, and I really appreciate the responses that have come from that, in sort of representing all of the artists that have worked on the team with me to achieve this. Huge thank you for the appreciation people have expressed for that. But when it comes to the game, the part that I enjoy the most is being able to play out the interesting political dynamic of this sort of, imperfect rebellion. While its purposes and intentions are noble, its way there is fraught with the weaknesses and frailties that we see in our own human existence, and they're no different there. So watching Flesh, Bone, and Spirit sort of constantly work with each other and then fall to their own vices or whatnot is an interesting part of the strategy, and I think that plays out throughout the whole game in countless ways.
We also have more questions coming in about stretch goals.
Okay.
About what's coming soon. Somebody is.
We're getting so close to
have
the.
an odium.
What?
A what? A who?
Like most things, I think I'm going to pull an Anna right here and channel her since she can't be here and say that the court is strategic, and the court knows what it's doing, and there's lots of workings, and there's a strategy behind everything that the All-Taker does. So
everything in good time, step by step is kind of the gag, but we have definitely not left anything out by omission. So.
And then the last stretch goal that we can talk about, 160K. Those trackers.
Yeah, so the trackers on the Celestial Suspicion and the Dread's Grip tracker, there's a small skull that marks the placement for that, as well as on your player board. Make sure I get that in the shot just right. There we go. On the player board, you're also tracking simultaneously your faction influence. So as you're building up your reputation and your influence amongst each faction, so you're kind of keeping track of that. And this is a big part of your scoring. You can kind of see how this bracket has these numbers along the top. So that shows that there's an escalating point value as you get farther along. So that being the case, it's obviously you want something nice and heavy to kind of mark there. We were originally using cardboard tokens, but we've got a beautiful small version of what the All-Taker's skull looks like when you look at the Underworld United logo. And that little button or whatnot will be metal, much like how we've upgraded the coins, the faction coins, the Unity tokens. We could just continue to put more metal into this property, which is thematically right on the money. Yeah. But so it adds a huge value bonus to that, and I think that'll go a long way towards. Some folks have pointed out that when you're doing resource management, a little bump on the table or whatnot, and things sort of shuffle. These little metal tokens will help seat that and keep them right where they should be, so you're not worried about losing track of where you were.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah.
Right on.
I was like, do we have any more questions? I feel like
We're good.
we have. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember to head on over to sideshow.com/Kickstarter and get your own copy of this game, because as of now, it's funded. So that means it's definitely being made. So sideshow.com/Kickstarter.
And you know what? I guess in a little bit, we're going to take a look, a close-up look at the artwork that Alex Horley has generated for the different faction sleeves. So, we've talked about in the game the big part of the factions. So there's a...
You can take the quiz at sideshow.com/faction quiz.
Which will tell you what faction your persona and
whether
your makeup best suits you.
Spirit or flesh or bone. Yay,
Just for
you can't
Anna's
even
sake,
see. Yeah,
not-
for Anna's
not
sake, we
bone.
have to have...
Enough bone.
There's so many.
We
people.
need everybody united. But
Yeah.
in any event, we're going to be taking a look at that, and we can talk some more about the thematic colors that actually are weaving their way through all of the court artwork. And from that point forward, you'll
that's
never
awesome.
be able to see it any other way.
Oh my gosh, I need to like make sure I'm around for that live stream because I've noticed
You're
some
certainly
colors.
invited.
But I've noticed certain colors, and I'm like, is that color strategic? And the answer is always yes for court. So the answer is always yes. So
Everyone
be
matters.
sure to tune in to that so you can learn all about the Alex Horley artwork, and it's actually going to be taking place in like the court kind of area. In Tom's
Up in my
office.
office.
So you're going to get like a behind the
secret view.
scenes look.
I tried to clean up, so
How-
give me a little break.
And like for an Easter egg game, it's like count the weapons.
Well, there is that part. But that might not be everybody's favorite part. But
No, they're cool. They're like historical. They mean something. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Again, sideshow.com/Kickstarter and get your copy of Court of the Dead Mourner's Call. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Thank you so much.
righto.